Hi everyone, so this is my review for Kale Juice and Baby. Cool name by the way. Okay, we see here obviously a blue eye, a lot of lymph, a lot of congestion, but that's pretty much most of us to be honest, right? We see a lot of problems um, in the breast bronchial area, which is on the right side, like way on the side, and you have to kind of rotate the picture because you could see how like where the eye is. And she sent me another picture, and it does, when you look at it, it seems like it's a little bit higher on the diagram, but it's not because of how the phone was held. So so that's one area I definitely see problems. Also in the ear area, there's some things. It could be even like stuff from the childhood, but there's definitely um, something there. Ear, maybe mastoid, somewhere around there. There's some issues. Um, Also, there's some nerve rings happening. Not too bad, but just something to keep in mind. Don't, over stress. Try to calm down with, all of this additional stuff that we keep putting ourselves into, right? So just do what you need to do. Don't get over anxious. If you feel like you're over anxious a lot of the time, you have to pull back and do meditations and things like that, just to, or yoga, or just simply taking walks, but you need to calm the mind down. But like I said, like, it's not that bad. Um, I do see a little bit of a skin ring, and that shows us that the body is kind of overburdened with lymph, and it's trying to push it out through the skin, which is, if you watch my videos, that's my story, that's most people's stories. See, a lot of the eyes are very similar, and the reason why they are so similar is because most of us have been brought up on the same diet of, having mashed potatoes, having and chicken or whatever, like it's like very, very similar foods traditionally, right? So, we're gonna develop the same problems. I do see around the colon area, pretty much throughout the whole colon area, there's a lot of problems generally. There's a lot of pocketing, there's a lot of breaks in the fiber, and that just shows us that the colon has been pretty beat up over the years. So detoxifying, clarifying, if you can do a colon cleanse, that would be good as well. So but don't go too crazy with the colon cleanses. But you can do it every once in a while. But generally, you need to change the diet in its core, and then you know it will clear itself up because everything is moving through. Because the problem is when we eat things that stop the flow of the poop, it starts to sit in the colon, and it starts to get into it starts to what's the word, like come apart in the colon and get sucked into the walls. Like it starts to deteriorate the colon area basically. So but when you eat vegetarian diet or vegan diet ideally, right, or raw food diet ideally, what happens is everything moves very fast through the colon, and that cleans it out. So that's why it's very important. And that's why, as you guys who watch all of my videos, you can see that time after time after time, everybody's colon is beat up because nobody taught us this, and we were all on this diet for a long time that was just killing our colon basically, and creating also problems, and then there's like all the bacteria and all, I mean, it just goes on and on. So yeah, so I would just say just really start working on getting the lymph out. You can also do lymph massage, but just getting it out of the body. And the most detoxifying foods, and I'm going to talk about it probably in every video because I feel like, even though I mention it sometimes, but people still ask me. So the most detoxifying foods are probably melons, berries, fruits, right? But watermelons are probably the best one, or grapes. So whatever you like most. For example, I don't like grapes very much. I like watermelons better. But whatever one, just you can ideally, if you want to really work on cleaning it out, go on like a grape fast or a watermelon fast. So that's all you're eating throughout the day, but you're not restricting calories. You can eat as much of it as you want, but just going through it and, you know, and clearing out your body. But also keep in mind that if you go and do this, you're gonna have symptoms of detox, such as your skin actually will get worse. Like you'll have breakouts because it's all coming out, because basically the body says, yes, finally, you know, I get a chance to clear it all out. So it's gonna just push it out everywhere. And you have to be kind of prepared for that, depending on, you know, your lifestyle, your job. You know, you might not want to experience that. You can also get headaches during detox. So all of these things are really common. Actually, a lot of people get signs of detox just from going from a regular diet to a vegan diet, because that alone kind of starts clearing up the body. But I have to do a separate video on the vegan diet, because a lot of the times when people say vegan diet, they actually eat really badly by substituting like what they would eat before, like the meat products, with fake meat products, and they're just so toxic, the fake stuff, that they're really doing themselves a disservice. So, but we'll do a separate video on that. But I really, you know, I don't really see anything too bad in the eye, but I would take a look at if you look at the chart, it's hard to say because the eye is a little bit rotated, but if you look at the iridology chart, you'll see in the bronchial, thorax, breast area, that's where I see, or in also lungs. So if you're a smoker, that could be it. You know, I'm not sure why, but I do see some problems, because there's basically a hole in the fiber of the eye in that area, so there's definitely something going on. And then slightly above, we see in the ear area, but again, that could be moved over a little bit depending on the actual placement of it. And then the colon, I would say work on the colon first. Make sure you are filtering, so check your urine to see if you're filtering. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it in other videos. But check your urine, make sure you're filtering. If you're not, just go on the watermelons and all of that, and, you know, get to the point where you're filtering. Also dry brushing, so get that stuff out of your body before, you know, it causes more problems. Thank you so much for sending me this. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you would like me to review your eyes, please send it. I'll have all the links down below the video, and I'll see you in the next video.